Good evening, Paul Anderson here. Just checking it's working. Shauna's going to update me, tell me if it's actually running. Okay, this is going to be a workshop on slow airs. How are we getting on?
I haven't got you yet.
You haven't got it yet. There's nobody logged in anyway. Oh, somebody's logged in. Right, that's folk beginning to come in.
This.
Right, I'm just going to go with it now then. We'll see how we get on. This is a workshop on the slow air and the playing of slow airs. In one respect, they're probably what you could consider one of the easier things to play because they're slowly played. Less notes than things like reels and jigs, less rhythmic issues and bowing issues as you find with things like strathspeys. But to play a slow air well, there's a bit of an art to that sort of thing. So there's lots of good players of slow airs, but the best players kind of stand out, and I think it's usually because they manage to tap into that emotional side. So it's a step beyond just playing the notes, because anybody can play the notes and tune and sound quite nice, but how do you turn it into something that's got a lot of emotional impact? Well, the music itself can do that, but it's really up to the player to fill in the colours with that. So best thing, I'm going to let you hear the tune I'm going to work on. I'll give you examples and tips as we go, but as this is a Facebook Live workshop, it'll be you'll just get what you get, and hopefully you'll find something useful in the experience. So I'm going to work on a tune called The Music of Spey by James Scott Skinner. Nice easy key of A, very straightforward, but a lovely tune, very popular. So I'll let you hear it, and then we'll maybe have a wee bit of work on it.
Can I just say there's a lot of folks saying hello and things, but just maybe you can.
Yeah, I'm showing us telling me there's lots of folks saying hello, but if I stop to read them, I want to get much else done. So we'll just continue. If there's anything really,
If there's any questions,
there's any questions that folk want to ask, let me ken. The trouble with my phone is that on Facebook Live, the picture is inverted, so it looks like I'm playing left-handed, but I'm playing right-handed. So my fiddle is in my left hand, my bow is in the right hand, and there's nothing I can do about that because apparently that's just the way it is on a Huawei phone. So, The Music of Spey. Okay, so The Music of Spey, a lovely tune. Certainly in Scotland it'd be considered very well known. I started playing that quite young when I was a member of the Banchory Strathspeyan Real Society, and at the time it certainly wasn't a favourite of mine because it was part of a set of 3 James Scott Skinner slow airs. There was The Floor of the Choir, The Music of Spey, and then Sarona, which can all be found in the Scottish Violinist, which is a James Scott Skinner collection. A lot of folk will remember the pink book with the heading at the top which said talent does what it can, genius does what it must. So an insight into Mr. Skinner's mentality there a wee bit, but it's a lovely tune. And so if I just talk a wee bit about putting feeling into slow airs, you can very easily just play the notes and it's perfectly alright. But to really connect with folk, you need to put in some expression. So how do you do that? The technical things you would find would be stuff like louds and softs, and that ties in with things like pushing and pulling the tempo, because you can really add a lot of tension and then release the tension with that. Add drama or tenderness depending how you play, and it's very much up to the individual player. So in that respect, it gives you a lot of personal expression, which is maybe why I like them. I love playing slow airs, because there's not really a right or a wrong. There's certainly things that you would say were maybe a wee bit inappropriate, but it's certainly down to the individual where they put the expression in. So if I take the first bit of the tune, if you want to play along, fine, I'm going to do a bit more of that in a minute, but just to illustrate the difference, if I play this tune just straight through with no expression, no louds and softs, etc., no grace notes, it should become a little bit monotone and lacking in expression. So if I take it like this. Okay, so that was about as straight and flat as I could possibly play that. So, louds and softs would be the first thing. How you hang on to notes and how you move from one note onto the next. Your bowing is really important, because if your bowing lacks fluency, the tune's never going to flow. If your bowing's a bit rough and bumpy, that's going to translate into what comes across when you're playing. So try and get the work on letting your bow flow. You can just practice basic exercises, kind of long bows. Also, changing the speed of the bow, because volume mainly comes with the speed of your bow. The quicker your bow is moving, the more volume you'll get. So if you're really moving your bow slowly, it will sound quieter. So also, if you add into that the amount of intensity you're putting in with your left hand, so you've got to press down firmly. If you don't, if I take a note like my third finger on the E string, which is an A, so I'm moving slow, little bows, not pressing particularly hard. If I press a bit firmer, you should feel the note tighten up just a little bit, coming onto pitch. If I take the pressure off, fingers in exactly the same place, but I'm adjusting the pressure. So if you didn't press firmly, you'll be slightly flat as well. So more bow, more pressure, add a bit of vibrato. So you can see how these things, how much pressure and vibrato you use in your left hand, and the speed of the bow can make the sound just blossom. If you reverse that, obviously you can make that diminish. So if I go back to the start of the tune and play it in the opposite fashion for how I played it really flatly, try and put a bit more expression. Okay, so I'll stop there.
How well it was coming across, maybe, I don't know.
It's hard for me, I'm just sitting here laying off, but if anybody has any thoughts on how it's coming across, please let me know, because I'm doing this for free. Obviously folk can chip in if they like, but I'm doing it for free, and if you get something out of this, that's fine, but it's very hard to tell how it's coming across. Anyway, so you try and put phrasing into it. It's a bit like reciting poetry. When you play a slow air, you should really play it a slow air like a singer would sing it, with expression and feeling. So the phrase in the tune, how you pull the tempo about and add the volume and tenderness and things like that, makes a big difference to how folk would want to hang on to that tune for the start to finish. So I sometimes use this as an example if I'm teaching pupils. So if we take the start of Tam O'Shanter, I'll be here for 15-20 minutes if I do the whole thing, but if you start like this and take this as a slow air that has no expression, that's just done on a very flat fashion. As chapman billies leave the street and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing light and folk begin to tack the gate, as we sit boozing at the nappy, getting full and unca happy, and I'm nodding off already. If you treat it more like this: as chapman billies leave the street and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, as we sit boozing at the nappy and getting foo and unca happy. You get the idea. I'm absolutely convinced that is much more compelling. It's the same thing with slow airs. This expression just keeps folk hanging on it. You're telling a story when you play a slow air. It's like a song without words. So it can be very nice just to listen to it flat in one level, but you need the louds, the softs, and it depends from tune to tune. The music of Spey, which I'm just going to play again, and hopefully folk will join in, and try and use as much bow as possible. Let it flow. Should be fluid, like water in a burn. That's a good way to think about it. But nae every tune should be played like this. This is a nice, sweet sounding tune. It's nae overly expressive. If I play something completely different in a minute, I'll show you how extreme they can be. But we'll go back to the start. I've got no sense of how this is going to work for you guys, but hopefully you'll be able to play along. If you've got the music that I posted up earlier, it's got my bowing in, and the bowing can make a difference to how it feels. For instance, when you get to the end of a phrase, a measure, or the end of the tune, most of the time I would want my bow to be on a down for that last note. And what you find, which works really nicely and is tasteful, is if you get that last note and it tapers off. Tapers face off, not necessarily loud, but it starts with loudish and it disappears to nothing. And that's a nice, tasteful way to do it. But for slow airs, try to avoid cutting the music. Keep it flowing. It may just fade away to nothing, but it sort of swells up again. You never chop it into bits. It should be fluid. So let's try the music of Spey. See if anybody's going to play along with me. So I'll count 3 and in. 1, 2, 3. go. How did that come across? Hopefully you managed to play along with that, not too bad. It's a little bit, you feel quite isolated, appropriate for how things are going just now, but I've got Shona sitting here. When I play a slow air I can get quite lost in the moment, and it's very easy to forget that there might be folk watching this because I'm sitting looking at my phone, looking at my cell actually. So anyway, we'll do that again, just because it's supposed to be a workshop. Start to finish. Try and let your bow flow nicely from one bow into the next. I've got 4 fingers marked in. That's really because I do use 4 fingers. They're a great tool. Things like open strings and slow airs can be a little bit harsh, especially on the open E string. But they give a bit of warmth, a bit of colour to the tone, warm it up just a little bit. And I also find it in certain occasions, and certainly in this tune, it means that you don't have to jump from an E string down to the D, so it makes your bowing a little bit easier. I do appreciate that some folks 4 fingers maybe didn't work for them as well as they would like, but practice, that's the key thing. Keep working at it, and hopefully that you'll develop some stamina and a bit of strength. But you've got to press down firmly and make sure you're stretching far enough. So let's try it again. The music a spé. 1, 2, 3. That note fade, move on. Go. Hear how that last note just tapered off. Stuff like that you can practice fairly easily on your own. Changing the speed of the bow, just getting used to that, because if you don't practice it, it's hardly actually make that tool you can use when you're trying to put an expression. Experienced players that have been playing for a long time, you'll probably find they didn't really need to think too much about the technicalities. I'm going to play louder, so I must do this. Actually, it should be an instinctive thing. The longer you've been playing, it's like playing grace notes. I never ever think about where my grace notes come in. They just appear for their space in the music. So you'll find slow airs, there are quite a lot of grace notes that I put in. Crisp, clean, articulate, but never getting in front of the melody. They should never be close to being melody notes. They need to be just decorating the tune. Ornamentation, that's why they're called ornaments. Grace notes, they just twinkle away there. Their absence means that there's something just a bit lacking, very hard to define what's missing in that, but actually when they're there they should make themselves felt, but very subtly. So again, they need to be practiced. So I'm going to give you a wee contrast to the floor of the quern. Anybody who's playing can take a little bit of a break. I'm going to play a tune called Fivey Castle, which as far as slow airs go, it's as big a contrast from the music a spé as I can get. Another tune that would be in that kind of vein would be Mrs. Jemison's favourite, kind of nice, sweet, gentle melody. This tune I'm going to play, Fivey Castle by James Scott Skinner again. It's the total opposite. It's a very dramatic piece of music. If you ask kids what this music makes them think about, they'll say, oh, there's been a murder, or there's been a battle, or somebody's sad, somebody's died, is frequently you'll hear. And this is a good example of why it's good to know a wee bit about the background to a tune before you start playing it, because Fivey Castle, you could think it's about a castle. it's actually a ghost story, and if you understand that and a wee bit of the background to the piece, it's easier to interpret it. So I would always say that's a really good place to start. I have been surprised in the past with folk playing a slow and say, oh, it's a tune I like. I don't know what it's called, but it's a nice tune, and I think, crikey, it's like singing in Gaelic. If you don't understand Gaelic, you're just making noises. I think it's key to really expressing a tune is understanding it. So I'll play Fivey Castle just as a contrast to the music of Spey. So things like the tempo and the volume, these things are going to be much more extreme than the music of Spey. So you can see that's really very dramatic. As far as Scottish fiddle tunes go, certainly if you're playing slow airs, that's one of the tunes that's it's a heavy tune, but it's a heavy subject matter. So a wee bit of the background. One of the previous lairds at Fivey Castle discovered that, well, he felt it was his wife's fault that they only had daughters. He had about 4 daughters, and he wanted a replacement because he wanted a son to take on the title and take over the land and pass on his name. So he hatched a plan to get rid of his wife and marry somebody else. And so what happened was he locked his wife up in a room, bricked up the room, and left her to die, which is not very nice. He promptly, after an appropriate length of time, he got remarried. He got married. They retired at the end of the celebrations to the bridal chamber, and the face of his ex-wife, the dead wife, was looking in the window. Now you're about 4 floors up at Fivey Castle in this particular window. Her name was Lilias Drummond, and next morning it was found carved into the granite at the windowsill. No looking out, but somebody looking in had carved the name Lilias Drummond. So that is the ghost at Fivey Castle. Very unhappy, but apparently not malevolent. And she goes through there's lots of other ghosts, I have to say, but she's the most famous ghost, the Green Lady. And so if you understand that story, it kind of helps you get your head into what you're trying to express. The second half, for instance, is supposed to represent the Green Lady coming down the great staircase at Fivey. If you've ever been there, it's very easy to imagine. So if I let you hear that bit again. Very dramatic, but that sort of creates a picture. It does tell a story. Very different playing that how I played it as opposed to how it's written. Now, this is one of the things. Notated music tells you absolutely nothing about putting in the feeling. It's got limited information, but it's really up to the player. So if I play that second half sort of how it's written, it's more like this. Quite different to me. That's just rubbish. So you can hear the amount a difference in the louds and softs can be quite extreme depending on the piece of music. So the interpretation is a big part of playing slow airs. So trying to get yourself into the music is quite a key thing, because you need to believe it yourself for your audience to believe it when they're listening to it. And I'm pretty sure it's a quote from Hector McAndrew. He said that Hector's one of the greatest slow air players of Scottish film music. I think a lot of folk would agree. And he said that you should be able to mark yourself great when you're playing slow airs.
Right, we've got a lot of
So if there's a lot of folk from overseas, make yourself weep with the emotion that you're pouring into that music. That's how much you're kind of looking to commit yourself to putting that across. And that doesn't come that easy. It's like a step beyond just learning the music. That's a deeper understanding of your playing and quite instinctive. But anybody can add more feeling into the music. So a slow air like the music of Spey, though it's not nearly as dramatic, it still has these elements of louds and softs, light and shade, the ebb and flow of the music. It gets quicker and it slows down. So two very different examples there. Practice your bow, and that would be a very handy thing. Practice getting louder and getting quieter. Just experiment a wee bit, and a bit of experiment and practice, and you'll be able to apply it to a slow air. It really does make all the difference. So let's go back. If you've got a fiddle, we'll have another go at the music of Spey. Is somebody asking for that?
No, but
all right.
I think it'd be nice.
Shona is saying I should go over some of the ornaments. So what I'll do is we'll play this through again. I'll count us in, and then I'll maybe mention a wee bit about the ornaments. Okay, how's that? 1, 2, 3.
Possibly say about positioning as well.
What's that?
Positioning.
Somebody's asking.
No, but you've got it written down.
Okay, so you get the idea. Sorry, Shona was suggesting things there in the background. Maybe just say a wee bit about third position, because unless you're on the E string and it goes up above A or B, you really don't need to play third position. But there's a good reason why you do. One thing is it keeps a passage in a similar musical colour, because each string on the fiddle has a slightly different character. So if I take an open E for a start, okay, I would say that that's got a kind of brittle, hard, cold sound to it. It's quite, it's like ice as far as to me that's what it sounds like. Vibrato, of course, can warm that up. You see the difference in tone you get. So that's quite brittle sounding. If I go as far down the fiddle as I can to the bottom of the G string, totally different. To me that suggests me like dark browns or maroon, that kind of nice deep rich colours like chocolate or a nice red wine or something like that. It has a different feel entirely. So that will change with that darker, deeper, richer colours up to the lighter kind of ice blue sort of colours as you go up through the fiddle. Each string has a different texture, and so when you're playing in slow airs, the reason I would mainly use third position is to keep a sense of continuity in one string, so you can keep that sense of colour consistent. You could argue you could play it on one string, but that's just mental. I wouldn't advise that, but you can go well up into fifth and beyond. So if anybody's any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. A tune that best kind of tune I can think of where I keep it in one string for a bit is Neil Gow's Lament for the Death of His Second Wife. So you can see where I'm using the fourth finger right for the beginning. Rather than, which sounds fine, but I just like it just has a more consistent sound. So the alternative is I'm actually playing on three strings if I use a fourth or use the position. So to me it's more musical. It's what I feel personally. I'm not saying nobody else is wrong, but there's lots of different ways to skin a cat, and but I'm just trying to give you some explanation why I maybe do certain things. If it comes to grace notes, it's very easy to add ornamentation when it comes to slow airs, because the tune's moving slowly, lots of space. Reels, much harder to add a grace note because the fingers are generally moving far too quick. But if I take the music a spé, right for the beginning actually, and I have to really concentrate when I'm thinking about grace notes because I didn't usually think about them. When I try to emphasise them, you hopefully can hear it a little bit clearer. But as the tune's moving, it shouldn't be overly obvious. If it sounds like this, I'm overdoing it to emphasise the point, but it can really take away for the melody. So that's kind of the main points really I wanted to get across. I could play slow airs all night. I love slow airs. My last album was entirely slow airs. So I mean, you can get it online, but that's not what I'm saying. But I do love slow airs, and I could certainly play them all night. So yeah, so let's play through the music of Spain once more. In the meantime, if anybody's got a request for a slow air, I'll maybe play it if I can it. I can't play it if I didn't can it, obviously. But if it's something that I do can, I'll give it a go. But we'll play through the music of Spain once more, and that's probably about it. I mean, I'm doing it for nothing anyway. So right, after 3, 2, 3. There you go. Just a couple other things have just come to mind. The first being, when you're playing slow airs, they should never be overly slow. That's the thing, it's really easy to make them drag. And because they're performance tunes for folk to listen to, if they move too slowly, you can lose your audience. I don't mean they walk out the room, but mentally folk will begin to turn off if they're too slow. So you should always have plenty of movement about them. They can, of course, kind of really slow down, but you need to contrast that with a bit more tempo. So if you give, you take as well. Just like my dance tunes, if I'm playing, that just totally put that out of my head now.
So
Long notes, pull out your long notes. So instead of going, I would be a bit more like this. Or Neil goes. As opposed to it gives it more feeling, and it's certainly it's in keeping with the sort of traditional Scottish style. The other thing is Scottish fiddling. One of the things that differs from Irish fiddling, one of the things that makes a real difference is we didn't really use sliding onto the note. There is space for really subtle and tasteful slides off of notes if you're coming out off a third position, but by and large you don't really slide onto notes like you do in Irish fiddling. So it's something to bear in mind if you're playing Scottish fiddle music and you want it to sound authentic. That's something that you can folk would consider themselves Celtic musicians that play a music for lots of different places. If it's a Scottish tune and you want it to sound Scottish, you need to be really careful about how you use slides, because in Irish music they're really part and parcel. In slow tunes, kind of sliding, sweeping onto notes, but that's not something you find really much in Scottish fiddling.
Shetland.
What about Shetland?
Shetland, sliding.
Well, you do about that. So somebody's asked for. Right, I'm going to do one of these. Somebody's asked for the Weeping Duchess.
That was Anne Mitchell.
Anne Mitchell has asked for the Weeping Duchess of Kilmorach.
Alice Cameron asked for the Floor of the Quern or Margaret Ann Robertson.
Okay, well, I'm going to do the Weeping Birches. I would play the Floor of the Quern because I can play it, but it feels a bit like the music of Spey, so I thought I'd play something a wee bit different. Margaret Ann Robertson, yeah, I certainly can play it, but I think I'm going to go with the Weeping Birches, just because I feel like it. So I'm going to play this, and then I'm going to say fare thee well. I hope it's been some use, this wee workshop, and we'll be doing our concert again on Friday, 8 o'clock UK time, with Sean and myself. We've got a few things up our sleeves, a few requests. We'll be starting at 8 o'clock. And if anybody's interested, if you put in www.paypal.me/Paul Anderson Shona Dawn, that should get you there. So thanks for looking in. There's been a few folk there, so we'll see you later. You can listen or you can't have it. You'd hate it, but so here we go. The Weeping Birches of Kilmorach. So there you go, the Weeping Birches. Pretty much treat all these tunes in the same sort of way, the same sort of things going on to different degrees depending on the character of the tune. So the Weeping Birches was written after a traction engine accident up at Kilmorach, near Bewley actually. It's not too far from there. It had gone over the edge and the engine drivers were killed. And it was in a birchwood, and what happened was that the birchwoods died and never grew back again. And when Skinner was up there, he was taken to the spot and was moved by what he saw and what he heard to write that beautiful bit of music. So, yep, slow airs, brilliant. Stick in, practice, work on your bowing, and we'll see you maybe on Friday. So thank you very much, Abdi. It's at this moment I find out whether I can shut the damn thing off, but we'll see you later. Oh, hold on. Obviously not. How do you turn it off? I can't find the button. Ah. I can't find whatever. There's nothing there. Oh, come on. Well, hello, folks. It looks like I'm not going anywhere. Oh, wait a minute.